Hey, 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 welcome back. Welcome back to the Scorpio channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to my channel, I'm going to do a general message. Know that energy is fluid, roles could be reversed. Interpret the message as it best resonates. But I feel like for this message, it really is going to be for a Scorpio because Scorpios are emotional, right? And the title of this is The Mask of Autonomy. And really, it's just the fear of vulnerability, right? That's what it is when people perceive that they don't need something and then they camouflage it by a mask. So when people have a wound and it's about intimacy, what they'll do is they'll act like they don't need intimacy at all. They'll act overly independent, really busy in order to not create that emotional connection. So we want to know why we would connect to a person that has feelings for you. You know that they do. They might even have told you that they did, but their actions and their habits are not in alignment with that. Why does it look the way that it does? And why do we want to know that? Well, if there's many different realities that play out at one time and you're really connected to someone that you love, well, it doesn't mean to compromise yourself. A lot of times people compromise themselves and then they're not happy. So they went too far left, which, if there's many different realities, you got to find somewhere right in the middle where you're not abandoning yourself by making someone else comfortable, but it's like you're finding what the balance needs to be, what you would need to do. That might be more communication. It might be by making someone feel more safe. And you might be like, why do I want to even do that? You understand if you've gotten to a place of resentment because this person continues to like run away every time you get close. It's those relationships that everything's great. And then the next day, the person like does something to make you be like, now, why would you do that? And again, to make you question you and it ruins the intimacy, right? So we want to know why. We want to know, like, we can't force the person to stop. If anything, if you tell this person how you feel, what you're going to notice is that they're going to do it more. And you're going to be like, oh, what the hell is that? And understand it's like it's a psychological reversal where the person gets in their own way. It's almost like a compulsion that they have to do it. It's almost like when you tell someone, don't look, and they look. It's like, why did you look when I told you not to look? It's just a reflex. And so when people have spiritual blockages, they get in their own way. And so when there's intimacy blockages, well, they're going to get in their own way. We have to figure out how to change ourselves because we can't change them. But in being in a connection like that, it obviously creates a lot of abandonment issues and a lot of other things. So we want to understand the connection. We want to understand how to create balance. We want to know what to do with that energy because that negative energy that, accumulates from being with a person like that doesn't just go away. And a lot of times they don't want to have a conversation. You can't have a conversation. So how to deal with the situation. Now, obviously, we're never supposed to compromise. The moment that you're compromising yourself or feeling like you're compromising yourself is the moment that you need to, again, end the connection. A lot of people tend to not do that, but sometimes it doesn't need to be all or nothing. We're going to take a peek. But first, we're going to look at your energy. What's going on in your life? And energy doesn't just last for a day. When they say, oh, this message is for like February 10th, it's like spirit brings the message when you need it. They tend to not have any time at all. That's number one. And number two, my readings aren't even about zodiac, to be honest with you. They're more about spiritual blockages. So you could be a Virgo or a Capricorn and resonate with the reading. So it goes to energy. Energy goes to energy, right? And so the universe brings us what we need. So anyone that needs the message. But what I've seen personally is that readings tend to take at least a year to unfold. They just do, because there's blocks of time that are missing. Sometimes a person repeats things over and over and over again. Usually karmic relationships are like that until like you do something different, or the person does something different. So just take it as it resonates. I would say you need the energy, whatever is being recommended, for at least a year. Sometimes you get a reading and it takes, and you don't get nothing, and then it happens 10 years later and you're like, what is that? And Spirit says nothing really significant happened during that time. All right, so we look at that. Now we're going to pick some from the wounds. And I like to read these separate and then all together. It's just the way I do it. I don't know why I do it that way. And then maybe one more, and then we will see. Lately I've been picking a lot and wanting to pick a lot, and I don't know why. But there's always a reason. And we are going to see what this person thinks now. And even if the cards are like, not positive. Because remember, if you're dealing with a person that's in balance, you deal with a person that thinks a lot of different feelings, thinks a lot of different things, and because they have a lot of different feelings of a karmic relationship. Anything that makes a person learn, and they're a karmic that doesn't want to learn, well, obviously it's going to build up a lot of different emotions. But emotions don't stay. So we look at the wounds, and the wounds is ancestral wound, emotional repression, and coping mechanism. So I already don't like that. And then the Spirit's saying, okay, as far as the energy, take a moment to consider the things you don't like about yourself with love and compassion. And take a walk in nature today and consciously connect with Mother Nature. And then Spirit says, take the time you need to feel into the situation and then give it your best response. And then studying and writing and technology. So Spirit saying, first and foremost, like whenever you have an ancestral wound, it's like you were born into a curse. You were born into like codependency, trauma bond relationship, very imbalanced relationship that your parents had. Maybe it was non-existent by the time that you came along, just an imbalance. And what comes from that is there's very weak roots. When there's weak roots, it's because you got like a parent that you don't see, or you see sometimes, and you're not really talking about your life because of the change. Not it's like the unit, the support system is broken now. Even if the couple lives together, if a parent is checked out, well, you can feel it's like that person doesn't show up. They might be at home, but when they're home, they're drunk, or they're on text messaging other people. This is what karmic curses look like, because you're being born into betrayal. You're being born into victimization. You're being born into pain. It ruins the foundation of relationship, because like I said, you're taught by how your parents treat each other. That's how first and foremost you're taught how to treat each other. And so when there's ancestral curses, then there's a lot of vows. So the way that people talk to each other is bad. So when they get mad, they curse at each other, they insult each other, they don't care. It's a one-up-you game. And then there's no one's talking to each other. Nothing really ever gets resolved. It's like people may get back together again and everything's fine, like everyone's eating dinner tonight or everyone's going out to dinner and we're acting like everything's fine. But yesterday, they were killing each other. And so you're taught that like relationships are not, not, you can't trust. And you're also not getting your needs met, by the way, when you're growing up in that. It's like because you don't feel vulnerable to talk about your problems because you're seeing everybody has problems. And then there's expectations that you need to act a certain way because, again, of the broken foundation. So there's a lot of like issues that come with the generational curses. And you have to understand, unfortunately, our ancestors also inherited collectively what was going on. So when they, had to fight in wars, they had blood on their hands. They might not have wanted to do that, but nevertheless, they did participate in it. Slavery might not have wanted to participate in that, but did you go along with it? Did you stop? No, because I would have been persecuted. Well, then it's also on you. So we inherit all those things. And so a lot goes into it. Nevertheless, codependency, and then how you deal, the coping mechanism. And what we saw here was coping mechanism. Like, how do you deal with your stress? How do you deal with it again, which usually is bad. It's like you might shop too much, you might smoke too much, you might drink too much, you might just, not deal with the issue. And when we also emotionally um, are repressed, that's not that you're suppressing it, like, well, I'm going to try and suppress it. That means the outside people are repressing you to the point that it becomes automatic. But see, our emotions are supposed to flow. And so that's what happens when you grow up in an environment that's imbalanced. Like, you can't be vulnerable, you can't be, because of everything that's going on. And the parent might be trying to do their very best in, creating a safe environment for you and loving you. But unfortunately, like, children don't listen to their parents. They watch what their parents do and then copy what their parents do. That's the irony of it. And so it's like our environment becomes our reality because we form habits and behaviorisms to deal with what's going on. And that's how we recreate that trauma. And so Spirit's saying it's like, well, you know, um, healing from heartache, like we just got out of a relationship, or I feel like you finally walked away from a relationship and the relationship was very much reflected a lot of these inner child wounds where the person emotionally didn't show up for you, brought up a lot of that, and it just mirrored a lot of the same energy. So if you were abandoned, guess what? You got abandoned. If you were betrayed, guess what? You got betrayed. Like whatever that trauma was. And so you're in a place of healing, and Spirit's saying, take the time that you need to feel the situation and then give it your best response. For whatever reason, I don't know whether or not something you guys are considering keeping this person in your life or keeping people into your life that really, they don't deserve the spot to be in your life because they mirror too much of that ancestral karma. And why I say is it's not just within our relationship that happens, it happens within relationships. So you'll see certain friends that really are more like frenemies, or people that just really are not, they don't have your best interest, and it. And that's what Spirit says. And like, and so Spirit says again, take a moment to consider the things that you don't like about yourself with love and compassion, because you're a mirror of who and what comes into your life. And maybe it's like, so you'll be like, so that person, and Spirit says, no, no. If that person is somebody that, you can't trust, Like it like doesn't care about your feelings, then you attract people that also tend to not care about your feelings. So that means you care too much about other people's feelings if it bothers you. And so again, where a spirit says, so it's you might say, I'm too nice and I hate that about myself. Where spirit says, not that you're too nice, you give too much, you don't care enough about yourself. You show people that you care so much about them and not enough about how you care about yourself because you put up with stuff that you shouldn't put up with, and feel like now that you're starting not to because you're in a place of healing. Well, now people have a problem with that because, who the hell are you to take your energy back? It was working out mighty fine this way, or it wasn't for you. But understand it's emotional for you because you don't just give your energy to people. You give the energy to people that you've invested in, or you felt invested in you, so they built some sort of a connection. Otherwise you wouldn't have done it. And so spirit says you have to get grounded. It's also Mother Earth represents mother. So if we're healing ancestral wounds and you weren't really allowed to be vulnerable, there's a sense of, spirit saying you got to get grounded. And when you get grounded and you're connected to your physical body and the physical world, that means going out into the world, you're going to meet other sense of support. You're going to meet other people and situations that take you out of this energy because there's many different circles of people. So why would you choose to stay in a situation that someone's connected to, but they're mirroring the trauma that you grew up in? Meaning, hey, when I'm around this person, they make me feel inadequate. They make me feel like I need to chase them to be recognized. They don't have the time for me, but they got the time for everyone else. They're sending me a clear message. And like, but they're throwing breadcrumbs once in a while. And it's those breadcrumbs that you're holding on to that you're like, well, I didn't recognize that they were breadcrumbs because that's not the way that I operate. And spirit says, but you're not operating at all because that person is a representation of that. Like, and that's why it's going to feel like, when anybody comes into your life and they mistreat you, it's going to really hurt you. And that's because you gave too much and where there's not enough life. See, life is we create ourselves. And so it's belonging to a lot of different circles, a lot of different people, the person has to work for your time. They have to compete for your time. And it's not to be rude, but hey, if I have an option between going on a yacht around the world, with having all the delicious foods and every night there's some sort of entertainment, but I can also sleep in and get a massage whenever I want and get a facial and get beautified when I feel like it and just anything that I wanted. Or I could be in a fucking canoe, um, and going around the Bermuda Triangle, because that's what it kind of feels like when you're in one of those relationships. It's like you got to disappear, and you got to be with a person that it's like you don't know what the hell just went on, and spirit says it's a no brainer is what it means. It's like it's a no-brainer. And you're gonna do it's like are you gonna do what you enjoy to do and have the opportunities that you want to have? Or do you want to sit here and wait for this person? Because what you showed this person is that you're gonna sit and wait for this person. Even if you were like, I was never gonna sit and wait for this person. That's what they thought because every time they came around, you gave them time. It's like, and understand that's distorted also when a person is, cocky. So if someone's really cocky, They're going to try and put you in a place that you have to humble yourself, and you're already humble. So you didn't need that, is what Spirit's saying. So that's why Spirit's saying, like, the things that you don't like about yourself is not that it's wrong. It's that it's the fact of not having balance. It's like, still be kind, still be loving, still be empathetic, still be all the great things that you are, because you're a great person. However, it's like, now you have to be picky with your time, your energy, because, what you see is you want to break ancestral karma, and people will want to keep you there. Remember that you attract what you need. So you're going to attract people that are going to, you know, uh, trigger all your wounds when you have ancestral wounds. It's just the way that it goes, because ancestral wounds means you were born into it, and that is what you've created, like, not just within the first relationship, but every relationship. It's a karmic theme that makes you perceive that that's the reality that you can have, and the only reality that you can have. So it's like a hell, and it wasn't yours. It's the way that you were conditioned. So Spirit says it's a big deal. It's a real big deal. So you attract negative spirits that don't want you to move forward. That's the thing. And which means you attract people that get triggered by you just being you, because hey, you're moving forward. So who the fuck are you? Where you're like, what the hell did I do? I didn't do anything. Like, why is people being like, and that's the reason why, because you have to learn not to care, is what Spirit says. Your choice of focus is your greatest tool. Again, otherwise, then people will make you feel guilty for, like, having a good life, and you don't need to do. Understand magical space clearing time. Like, it's time to get rid of certain people and situations, and just people that are no longer serving you, is what Spirit's saying. That's clearing, because it's going to seem like magic, like, oh my God, why is life so easy? And it's like, life is so easy because you don't have certain people in your life that are making you question what your worth is, stopping you, triggering you. Because when we know we don't care about your feelings, that's always the karmic theme for you. And Spirit's saying yes. And that's like always going to be ancestral karma. It's like, because it's the attachment style that you grew up with. And what did you grow up with? Avoidance, avoidant, or someone that was really anxious. So someone that seemed very terrifying, but they were just full of anxiety. So, growing up with, either way, you're growing up in the same low vibrational energy, which makes you perceive certain things about yourself that are not true. And that's because, hey, that's what happened to your family. It's not that they deliberately said, well, let me go after it. It's like, no, that's the way their trauma, and they projected it on to you. That's how ancestral karma is. So opportunity to break it. However, like, it doesn't mean you're not going to be brought people that try to stop you from doing that, because there's a way. Did you pass the test? And so Spirit says, again, ground, you already know the answers. It's like, feel like studying, doing something, learning something new, that understand, some of you might be like, I don't even know what I would want to do. And so Spirit says, going out and just learning something new. This is about learning to love yourself, investing in yourself. Understand, if you're breaking ancestral karma, you're breaking, like, codependency, you're breaking toxic relationships, like fragmented relationships. You're becoming whole, but part of becoming whole is to create yourself more. That means learn. That means do something that's going to build your self-confidence. This is what Spirit's saying right now. Also, some of you are really good writers. It's time to channel that energy, right? Write a blog, start a vlog. Spirit saying it's the way that you ground. You can't go back in time. So trauma just doesn't erase itself. And so you don't want to just run out and meet people either. Spirit says meet people through common interest. It's again because, relationships is something that happens over time. Intimacy is something that happens over time. And when you get out of a relationship where you were taught not to trust yourself because of the way that you were brought up, without knowing who you are, by the way, we find out who we are. It's an unfoldment process from being on our path. That's a lot of times it should be by ourselves, is what Spirit says. It's like, otherwise, if you're not whole within yourself, you're going to attract a person that's also imbalanced. But unfortunately, they're not just going to be, I don't know who I am and I'm finding myself. They're going to be crazy. They're going to be someone that, like that you might have said, I don't know who I am, but I'm looking for the answer. But I think I want to be in a relationship, at the same time. It's like that very rarely works because you attract a person that doesn't know who they are. And I hate to say it, but a lot of those like relationships where people die, they're like, I got married to this person that I met online. We were together for 3 months. And then I didn't know that they had a violent temper. I didn't know that they had, and the reason why is because that person didn't know who they were, and they were, not filling themselves up. So they obviously were saying, well, maybe part of my destiny is you. Like, it's like you come into my life, we have a family, and we live happily ever after. And so God says, it doesn't work that way. Where's your spiritual sovereignty? That you're here to create your life, to, create your heaven on earth. You're me in physical form. It's like you're not that you don't know what you're going to want in 10 years from now. You're setting up the rest of your life through this, relationship, this encounter that you met, but you don't really know what you're going to want in 5 years. Understand, when people build relationships over time, trust happens over time. And then, what you learn is both people have their own lives and then they have the life together. So they're not looking to control your life. Yes, they will participate in your life and support you in your life, but they're not going to be controlling your life. And where when people get together and the relationships happen so fast and it was built on, hey, I just met this person online, there's no foundation. So people really haven't put that much effort in. And what you see a lot of times is they don't even put effort in when they meet online. They'll say, meet me at a coffee shop, and then they do the minimum. So that's not people that you want to really invest time with, because, hey, unless they're going to put a lot more time in. A lot of people sleep with the person. I had a friend that did that. Like, they would like go out, meet the person at the coffee shop, and then like 3 dates later, like sleep with them and then never see the person again. It's like, that over time, you get attachments from that, you get negative entities from that, you're exchanging energy. And people are very ignorant to understanding how spiritual energy works. And over time, you see people get spiritually sick. Ancestral karma that's never, ever, 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 ever broken and is passed on from generation to generation, it affects the DNA. It affects the DNA. Why? Because family trauma means that there was no support. You lived in survival. You conditioned your nervous system to live in survival mode. And you began to look at life through a more survival perspective. And over time, that takes you further away from God. It takes you further away from your true self, your higher self, because your connection to God is through your passion. Otherwise, you'd never see God work through you. How would we transcend time and space? Meaning, I lost myself. I lost myself. I love what I do, and I lost myself. Then you believe 3 hours went by, and where everyone else might be like, well, it felt like it was 12 hours. And that person's like, oh, I loved it. It went so fast. And you're like, and that's the thing. It transcends time. Being you love what you do and you're in your passion. and that's the whole thing. Your spiritual sovereignty is connected to that passion. And so we again tend to get fragmented over time because at one time our ancestors were made to live in environments that were not healthy, that were not balanced. They were taught wrong. They were taught to hate. They were taught that money was hard to come by. They were taught that you have to obey like government and everyone else that's above you, no matter what. Like you weren't really allowed to have your own opinion. You weren't really. I mean, the '60s came out and it got a little bit better, but I mean, let's face it. It's been in balance for a really long time. And what do you think happens from that? Well, spiritual warfare. Again, the silent war. Why? Because you're already weak. You've already been taught wrong. You don't have any armor. You don't have any equipment to fight it. And that's the whole thing. When really you do. But the answer is not outside, it's inside. And it's to heal the fragmentation and to heal the ancestral karma. Because it's the worst thing. Because it's just inheriting your parents' pain, inheriting like your great grandparents' pain. And they lived on a plantation, though, God says, or they were like persecuted back in the army or the Holocaust or wherever they were in Palestine, wherever they are. It's like they were persecuted. Are you being persecuted? No, or is it that mindset? And it's the mindset. Because remember, the silent war is warfare. All right, so we can see how it will play out in your relationships. But when we see that, it's usually like, again, ancestral karma. We're not seeing like an easy relationship. It doesn't mean that there won't be love. A lot of times spiritual like relationships are based on this. Like it's God says, well, I have to like help this person heal. So I have to bring them something that's going to. But you'll be like, no, but that person hurt me more. And Spirit says, because you still didn't learn the lesson. You get the test first. So Spirit says, this person wishes that they can turn back the clock because they do feel like you're their divine counterpart. They feel like you're giving up. They're ashamed of how they treated you. That's where they are right now. Let's pull from a different deck. We're just looking at the hidden truths right now. Doesn't mean that it's going to look like this. I don't react when people mention you. Didn't I say it doesn't mean it's going to look like this because this person is not emotionally intelligent. And it's also because they're ashamed of how they treated you and they might, like, again, reject them and they don't want to really be that vulnerable. I want you, though. And that's because, hey, well, the spiritual connection doesn't just go away, I mean, but it was never a thing about attraction. It's the fact that this person didn't treat you well. They feel like they're becoming a better person because of you, and that they left you because they felt like you would leave them. Like, if you really saw who I was, you would never really want to be with me, is what I get. I get like this person hid a lot from you, and they showed you a version of them that really was never existed. It's and that's what it is. Let's look at my deck because they're going to be real random. And we're not going to know what the hell comes out of them, because that's the thing. When a person has real feelings for someone and, to create that intimacy, it's trust. But, this person likes to operate where they pretend that there's someone else and then they get the person in the bedroom and then they don't talk to the person anymore because they don't build that emotional connection. Here, there was an emotional connection. So it's like, and this person I feel like they considered it. They considered many times inviting you into their life, but then they were like, no, if you're going to see it, you're going to dump me. And I really can't have that. Um, I feel so much love for you. And I feel like it's because you walked away from this person and there was always a spiritual connection. Old wounds and childhood issues need revisiting. So that's what this person is kicking up right now. So remember, didn't I tell you? I told you, past life karmic mates. It's all about them bringing up that those inner child wounds, so that you can revisit them, so that you can heal. So, um, but you're going to feel a lot of love for this person. You're going to feel like that they're your person. You're going to feel like, again, almost like that they're your twin flame. And that's because there's an opportunity for them to step it up to twin flame level. Now, usually with the twin flame, I'm not going to lie, it always starts off where there's a runner and a chaser. And you know what I'm saying? And then it flips. So, I feel like this person sabotaged the connection, and because they didn't know who you were, they undervalued the connection. And I feel like this person was just a big player, that it wasn't one person that they were hanging out with. They were hanging out with a lot of people, so they have a really big ego. And you probably had set boundaries and were acting serious, and this person was like not in the mindset for that type of relationship. I don't understand what this connection is, because it's hell, but I love you. And where it has control, and it triggers them, because it's like you have control that no one has. Like, I didn't think I would be like affected by this connection. I'm affected by it. You don't look like you're affected by it. That kind of pisses me off, because you're in a place of healing. You're not supposed to ever be in a place of healing. You're never supposed to get over me. That's this person, because they thought who they were, right? This person is like, I look like a shit. That's what that's the thing. Because they treated you so badly, they're like, how do I even fix that? It's like, and that's the thing. And it's like, and so I can't, I just wish that I could not have a connection to you. And God says, well, it doesn't work that way. I bring people into your life to teach you unconditional love. And part of that is, if you can't love yourself, where like this person's exposed. It's like that they see, they didn't care what they were showing you a long time ago. They thought that they were like really the fun. I feel miserable and lost. And it's like, I'm not used to this energy. I don't like it. Normally, I'm not the one that comes back and apologizes. Normally, I'm not the one that has to explain myself. I don't normally like, what the fuck is this connection? And you're fine, is what I keep seeing this person as being like, and you're fine. And it's like, and that really bothers them, because again, they have a big ego. And so that ego's coming down. I feel abandoned by you. And it's triggering my childhood traumas. That's why past life, this person needs to go back and revisit their childhood traumas, because that's the why they were running around and needing to get attention from everyone and disregarding this connection, or not really even paying attention to it. It's like, yeah, I like you, but it's like, I also like having all these other people to talk to, and how these people, they all think that I want to be with them. So they're all giving me 100%. I'm only giving like 3%. And they're like, this person thought that they were a god or a goddess. You know what I'm saying? So that's why this person like is so mad, because it's like, I thought you really liked me. Like, you don't act like you like me. And you're like, oh, what am I supposed to sit here and be like, oh, why? And this person's like, yes, you should be like so upset. And you're like, no, I don't fucking care, you know? And that's why this person is like, I don't know what type of relationship is it. Did you do witchcraft on me? Like, let me try and find something negative about you. I feel like they tried to actually look to find something negative. A person really doesn't want to be in a committed relationship when they're going on the internet to look for like evidence that you're a bad person. You know what I mean? and then they can't find it. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's making this person crazy. I'm obsessive, didn't I say? I said it's making them crazy. And that's what I feel like, where you're like, I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything. Well, that's the whole thing. You're supposed to be doing something because they're not showing you anything. And here it is, they're again putting on a show, and there's a sense that you're not putting on a show. I have things going on in my life that require my full attention. Yeah, it's like I feel like this person's life is never 100% settled. You know, that's what I feel like. External bachelor, and like, and that's the thing. They acted like the external bachelor or bachelorette. Didn't I say like they're not the one that normally comes back? They're not the one that has to apologize. So they don't understand what the hell is going on, that they are so obsessive and they can't believe it, and you're not affected by it, and they can't believe it, and it's making them crazy. I have karmic debts that need to be paid before I can come back to you. So it's, again, they were dealing with other people, maybe their baby mama, baby daddy, and they have the karmic debt is, hey, either they owe money or they are still connected to someone that they really don't want to be connected to, or they just can't be with you until they fix what's going on in their life, which is what you never saw. See, they showed you a version of them that did not exist. And then what happened is, it's like now their life is not working out. Like many times when people create facades, that it's temporary. And usually it's they're covering up something. And so their life is falling apart. And now this person's really thinking about, well, look at all those other people that I hung out with. Well, look, they were like here for a good time, not a long time. They're not going to be in this person's life to help them. They're not good people. They were a bunch of pigs the way that this person was a pig. Let's face it. Lying and let's get together and pretending to be something that you're not, so that you can have like a fantasy night. That's what you call it. I don't know what you call it, but it's like not really a relationship. It's like we tell each other a bunch of lies, and then we have sex, and then I never talk to you again. I don't know what that's called. Anyway, and so those aren't good people. Didn't mean that the person didn't need to take them out to dinner and pretend to be something that they weren't, but they were feeding themselves anyway, so they didn't really fucking care. And so, bottom line is they didn't give you anything, because it's like, hey, you demanded a certain level of respect, and oh, well, who are you to do that? And now they're looking around being like, well, I'm not liking where I am. Oh, but look at you over there. You would have been like somebody that, was a stand-up person. Well, it's always like that. The person that they treat like crap, they eventually need, the feeling. My pride and ego got hurt, so I wanted revenge, but they wound up hurting themselves. That's what happened. It's like, I'm going to act like I don't care. You held to a certain standard. How dare you hold to a standard? Don't you know who I am? Don't you know who I am? You'll be replaced. And they replaced you, but they didn't replace you with a good model. They got a Timu model. Yes. And it was not even like it came broken, so it was not even a good, and now they're in that, and they're like, I don't want to be in that. I have a karmic debt now to pay. Well, I mean, again, you can't play around with people's lives like that. And now it's like you're the one that didn't put up with it. And now it's like, and now you have a happy and you don't even care. And you'll probably live a happy life. And this is killing this person. Because they were, again, looking at what they chose. And they're like, how did I get stuck with this Timu model? You know what I mean? It's like, and that's because they thought that it was going to be temporary. It was only going to be temporary. It was a decoy, and that's what it was. where now it's like they're stuck in the memories, and that's what it is. I'm afraid to contact you. But nevertheless, it's bringing this person to their healing. Yes, they are concealing it, because it's very difficult for them to process their emotions. And this relationship is what makes them have to do it, because it's like, because they want it to, they actually want the relationship now, but they destroyed the relationship. So, understand, if they were actually going to even be able to come back to this, they'd have to be somebody completely different. But Spirit says that whether you want to take them back or not, I don't care, because, the mission was that they would revert back to their energy of unconditional love. You made them do that without actually having to be in a relationship, and also without inheriting any negative karma, because it was also one of those whammies that, if you would have been with this person, you would have, like, they wouldn't have treated you right, at the time. They're seeing it now. This person just feels like they've ruined the connection to the point that it really can't be fixed. And that, that's what it is. This person, like I said, them, you are their wish fulfillment. Now, you were the right person at the wrong time. You came in my life. I wasn't ready for it. I didn't. And that's what this person keeps saying. I wasn't even, like, their mindset wasn't even in there. So they treated you like an option. And that's what makes them smile. But then they smile on the outside and act like everything's fine. But it's killing them on the inside that they destroyed this relationship and that they don't really see a way to come back from it. Now, is that true? There might be. But what this person feels like, hey, from Australia, but you know what I mean? It's like, but it could be just this person's insecurity. Yeah, it's like, I feel like I'm not good enough for you. That's what this person's gonna thinks. They put on a facade to act like someone that they're not, and now they're gonna come back into their life and just be who they are. You're gonna be like, I don't like who you are. I mean, no, but they don't like who they are. That's the issue. So they're, again, projecting a lot of their fear onto you, and really there's nothing you can do with it. They're just not on a high enough vibration, is what it looks like. It's like, I have feelings for you, but like, I'm too much of a baby to, like, come back and really say anything to you, is what, like, because I'm afraid, because of their ego, because they need a lot of healing. That's why. And that's for you. I feel like that's healing for you too. That's why, yeah, this connection that you were never really supposed to be with this person. I feel like, there's many different realities that play it at one time. Then the reality was that you both got the healing that you need. I don't know what the healing is that you needed, though. So that's what we're going to look at now. And then we're going to look and see what you do with that energy. Because just because you're like, oh, I needed to learn lesson. Okay, there's still negative energy. You still have to do something with it. You have to embody a new energy. Otherwise, you can't really, just like I said, you can't get rid of negative energy. You have to do something with it. And so Spirit's saying, let's see. Oppression, innocence, physical touch, neglect, outdoors and nature. How many is that? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we'll do one more. Give another shuffle, and we'll take it right from there. Let's see. Love. Okay. So these are the inner child wounds, and then we'll pick more wounds. And we already had ancestral and emotional. And then I think it was like, what was the other one? thought I pulled three. I pulled three. I thought I pulled three. I did, but I don't know where it went. So, well, that's okay. We'll pull another one from here. I thought that it was something like that there was a shadow work. So that was the third one, and then you know what? I was gonna pull more. Bad, so all over the place. 1, 2, 3, and then another 2. Okay. Okay, so I'll read these together. Love, outdoors and nature, neglect, physical touch, innocence, and oppression. And then the shadow is vulnerability. We knew that it was ancestral, but this is humiliation, shadow work, emotional oppression, and ancestral wound. So I talked a lot about the ancestral wound, but then when that shows up, it's like, again, the shadow work one is just continuing to say about the ancestral karma, which shows up as reoccurring emotional triggers, unresolved conflict, behaviors that feel out of alignment. And it's just that loop that plays over and over again, where you lived in that for a long time. And to me, it's like the emotional suppression, but then also like where people don't treat you well. Humiliation is that. It's like it's deep self-criticism, fear of exposure, often leading to avoidance of situation where rejection feels likely. It can manifest as self-sabotage to avoid embarrassment. So being with, a parent that makes you feel bad, that calls you out, and then being with a relationship that tends to mirror that, and just where it continues to continue to play out, where you don't feel safe to be vulnerable. And if you were taught that vulnerability was not safe when you were growing up, well, you're going to take those same behaviorisms into a relationship, and guess what? Attract a person that judges you or rejects you when you express your feelings. And that's what this person did. They like when you were like, hey, I don't like the way that you're treating me, they wanted revenge. They were like, who are you to say this to me? Like, look at who I am. And then what they did was they took their love away from you, which when a child is living with a parent that has that avoidance style, and they don't want to deal with something, but they perceive that you're being bad, that's what they do. They take their love away by not giving you attention and not giving you the emotional support that you need. And so it's a way of oppressing you, like, shut up, keep quiet, there's consequences. You're gonna go against me? You're gonna go against me? Okay, well, there's gonna be consequences. And that's what this person did. They mirrored the same exact energy. And so that makes you not be grounded, makes you feel not connected to other people, because the person's trying to make you mold to what works for them, not what works for you. And that's how you grew up. And Spirit says that's a no-go, because of that. You robbed your innocence. And that's trust, when you grow up that way, like, because now you're growing up in fear, because that person is like, suppressing you, making you, like, humiliating you, like, oh yeah, you are like you're sad about this, you have a problem with that, like embarrassing you again, like it's a way of belittling you, it's a way of bullying. So then you say, why do I attract bullies? Why did I attract that person that was a bully? Like, oh yeah, that they're gonna punish me because I had an opinion. It's like, and Spirit says, oh, can you imagine? And people put up with that, and that's the whole thing. That I don't think you put up with it. I think it bothered you. Like and Spirit says, And it made you still connect to that person, nevertheless, being like, well, why did they treat me that way? Where spirit says, because of their issue, has nothing to do with you. Like you said, we said why, because they weren't even living their real life. They were showing you a fake life. And if you would have gotten close, you would have laughed at them and tossed them to the side. So instead, they tossed you to the side first. It's like it had nothing to do with anything except for that. It's like, oh, I like you, but I can't let you see everything because, hey, then you might tell everyone I'm living a sham. See, they didn't wouldn't care if you just saw it, but you might tell other people. So at the time, they didn't really care about you. It's like you were just one of many people, and not until this person, like their life really is coming falling apart, and they're stuck with whatever they're stuck with, that was supposed to be a decoy person, like a temporary person to make you jealous, you know, now they're not happy. So now they're thinking about the way that they were. But this person doesn't, they don't normally care. And that's the thing. They didn't even know that they cared, that they're mad that they care. They don't know what to do with it. And that's why it wouldn't be good to be with this person, because like when if you show them like if you're nice to them and then they show you a soft side to them, and then you do something that they don't like, they're going to show you a different side of them, you know? And that's the thing, like where, a person that's going to humiliate you because you're expressing yourself and you're telling them how you feel, and they don't want to hear it. It's like like that's emotional abuse, it's psychological abuse, it's just wrong all across the board, and it would mirror exactly what you grew up with, which is, I was taught not to love myself, and I don't get love, and that's what it feels like. No emotional support for me. If anything, like my needs get neglected. I'm here for whatever you want me to be here for. Which again, that's what this person was. They had a lot of people around them that might have been fanning them and feeding them grapes and thinking that they were great. And you were supposed to be part of that soiree. And that's not what you were like, I'm not doing that. It's like now they see, oh, all those people that, went along with it, those aren't true people. No one wants that. The people that wanted something too just were trying to get it through a shady way. You would just, well, I'm going to set boundaries. That's it. You know, that's it. I'm sorry, Tejon, like that. Like this is a person, because it's like this is not a nice person. This is someone that was just selfish. But what's most important is, why did you attract that person? Spirit says, because of those wounds which need to be integrated. And we want to integrate them, because it's not that you want to attract people that are parasites. Parasites go to everyone. The difference is that people that take parasite cleanse recognize, what parasites are, and they don't let more parasites in. They say, oh, I recognize this already. Gave me diarrhea for 3 months. No, no, thank you. It's like, I'm not, you know what I mean? You recognize, that's the difference. And so that it's the wisdom that you learn, but then we have to channel the pain into power, because it's not like I said that you didn't invest in a person or really like that person. And it's like, who the hell are they to make you feel a certain way? Like, and at the end of the day, like, it's like they're so prideful. It's like, well, I can't be seen really for who I truly am still. So it would make anyone mad. And Spirit says, well, again, that's the only energy that can transform any energy, that anger, that's fire, and fire in alchemy is what changes things. So what are you going to channel that anger into? What are you going to become? Spirit says, what are you supposed to do with that energy? Well, first of all, it was to help you integrate all facets of yourself, because it was fragmentation due to the way that you grew up. So, which meant that, what you deserved, what you felt, it's again the trauma. So it made you understand, like, I'm not worth that. I'm worth a lot more than that. That's number one. Spirit says, again, get the deep wisdom because, hey, it's not like parasites don't go to everybody because they do. It's to recognize so that, you don't let that something like that into your life again. And that's by, giving too much time, too much energy because you never know who you're dealing with. Understand you're protected and you've been protected. That you can do and become anything that you want. No one can stop you. Only you can stop you, and that's by giving energy to people that don't deserve it. Is what Spirit's saying. Now it's about learning to release control. That you have to go with the flow. Now, the only way we can really go with the flow of life is through the passion for life, and that's hobbies, interests, doing things that are going to feed your soul. It's like, and in the beginning, you might not even want to do that. But Spirit says you have to do that because I make a way out of no way. But there needs to be a passion, a focus, because that might have not been what was there before. So you gave too much time, too much energy to that parasite. And so it's like we release the control, but we heal that second chakra. That's how we can go with the flow of life. Otherwise, you can't not want to control. You would be fearful of every single person that you dated because of this person. So Spirit says it's not about looking for that. It's about feeding your own life, making it busy so when a person comes into your life, that you're not always available, that you have other friends, other options, other things. They don't deserve that spot where it's like, oh, well, we're dating, so we talk every single day and we see each other every other day. And then the relationship lasts a month and a half, and you want to know why. It's like, because again, the person didn't take the time. Now you may say, well, I like it when and Spirit says that's because you're needy. It's again, you shouldn't need that. If you need a person to check in every day where you can't start a relationship where it's paced, where the person's not love bombing you, then it feels like normal. Is again because you're so depleted so that you're in a desert. And that's what happens when you grow up with neglect. You don't realize, and what happens is that you were not treated right, and then you didn't do it for yourself, like where you nurtured yourself and reparented yourself. And that meant put energy into. Parents bring their children to places to teach them, and they take them places and they read to them and they pour energy and time to prepare them for life. If your parent, because of ancestral karma, which we saw, which means that it was broken, if that's broken, well, guess what? It's like, who's doing what here? It's like children are raising themselves. So then you want to know why, that when you go out into the world, you're like, I'm not really satisfied. It's like, Spirit's like, you don't even know who you are. It's like, understand, especially when you keep reliving trauma, the same exact karmic theme, because you grew up with the ancestral karma. So it stops, but it stops by you reparenting it. It's again because you have to do what you want someone else to do. Because Spirit says you don't really need anyone to do that. You need to have your cup full yourself all the time. And then when someone comes into your life, they get what flows out from an overflowing cup. This way, yeah, they don't say in your life, it's not a big deal. It's like they get replaced right away. They didn't earn it. Someone that really likes you, believe me, they're going to put the time in, and you're going to know too. But you're going to know because you can tell it's true. It's consistent. It's the real deal. It's not lust. And that's the thing. It's like Spirit says, you have to always get balanced first. Second chakra, relationship issues means you're not balanced. Just so that people know. And when you're not balanced, you're going to either give too much or too little. Where it's like, oh, past relationship, I did this, so the next person, I'm not giving anything. Well, again, you're going to create the same exact shit that you created in the first relationship because it's imbalanced. So it doesn't matter. Spirit says, part of life is learning to have unshakable faith. It's like, understand that you have to learn how to trust yourself. And that happens from connecting very good to the higher self. The higher self is a God part of self. That's all knowing that protects you. God's omnipotent and omniscient, omnipresent, which means everywhere all the time, including inside of you. That's what gives us life. Breath is spirit. Well, it's also, again, God, which gives us that supernatural energy. So when we channel it towards something we can create, the spirit says, this is about you trusting in yourself first. It's again, and the path and the universe, man, because God works through the universe, right? And knows whatever you need, we're going to bring you to help support you to evolve back to your original energy and also to create whatever it is that you want to create because it's part of ascending life, meaning that this is how you let go of who you thought you were, again, who other people told you that you were by how they acted or how, what they said, and step into who you truly are. You can't really release the chains that bind you until you, release those core beliefs. And the core beliefs were created from real experiences. So again, without embodying the new consciousness, you can't heal. And Spirit says, and when you go out into the world, you're meeting people again that are gonna support you, love you, like tell you about things and enhance your life is what Spirit's saying. So, and I only say that because Spirit did say that there's people in your life that, if you're leveling up, they're not really liking it. Like I said, which is normal because you change the entire dynamic. It's almost like when the black sheep all of a sudden like gets the good job or marries into like it's like that wasn't supposed to happen, because hey, that is you're forcing people to look at you different. The universe is forcing people to look at you different, and people tend to not. They get comfortable. Oh, I thought I was above you. Now, if you make as much money as I do, then who am I? You know what I'm saying? Where it's like you're still you, but the person like that superiority over you. And that's what it seems that there were people that like that, including this person that now sees you as, oh my, you're my person. I hate the choice that I'm stuck with. And, I'm too afraid to contact you because, I already know that I burnt this bridge. So, I'm just going to suffer in silence. And Spirit says, yes, and you need to again ascend life. Like it's again, let it go and become who you are and just live out loud, live true and boldly authentic. That's how you could really be, intimate by showing people who you truly are. Then this way you can attract people that are more in alignment with who you are, is what Spirit says. This is a time that you're going to meet a lot of different people, and those people are going to bring opportunities. There will be other relationships. There will be other, and that's what it's supposed to be because you don't really 100% know who you are 100%. And that's what Spirit's saying. It's like, that's why this person was more of a test. What you're going into is like a lot of experiences, meeting new friends, having new different types of relationships, and just seeing what you like and what you don't like, because it's going to enhance you as a person, make you more worldly. You're going to know exactly what you like and what you don't like. And when that is, it's like you have choice. And when you have choices, it's like this person wants you to have no other choices than for them. Whereas Spirit says that's codependency, choice. So you want to know that all your decisions like have the opportunity to either bring good or bad. So Spirit says choose serenity, light, and positive energy no matter what you go through. Choose happiness, rise above fear, and you direct your thoughts towards God, because God is love. God is that unconditional love. When we are giving and receiving of love, we're in the energy of passion. So we can transcend the pain of any situation because our focus is on that. So it's that we can choose to do it by being true. He said, and that's how like you're in a relationship with someone that you should be in when you're able to be true. You aren't able to be true to yourself in this relationship. So you will never get good results when someone makes you step out of your power and says, "No, you have to dumb me down." And so, and because you didn't do it, you get rewarded. So spirit says, be true to yourself and others. Remove the mask and stop creating illusions, which you didn't do. This person needs to do that. Have confidence in who you are and reveal the good in you. Do not need to hide or prove anything, which you don't, and that you replace shame with the power of love and truth. And that's how you do it, by being true to yourself. And I feel like this was just a test, and tests happen right before you're going to venture kind of into a new life. And even though you might be like, it's a new, well, nothing's happening, because you get to find yourself and you get to go back and be like a kid again, like where children in high school get to go out and find themselves, right? It's like you get to go out and do the same thing. You might be like, oh, I don't want to. And spirit says, that's a problem. You've got to want to do it and be passionate about it. Be like, oh, I can't wait to try this. Because when you're like, oh, I don't want to feel like it, there's so much money, that means that you have a block in your root chakra. And that spirit says, release control. Release control. Stop doing my job. Do your job. Be like childlike. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. Everything happens in divine time. It's the illusion that, oh no, it's wrong. I'm wrong. Spirit says, no, you're not. It's like you're right. But it's again, like you have to get strong within yourself to not attract parasites. And this next phase is going to help you do that. And then when you do, it's not like you won't attract those parasites because they go to everybody, but the difference is they don't stick around because you're like, I already see them, I don't have time, and my life is full. And I'd rather take what's behind curtain number two. Like I said earlier, it's like I don't, it's a no-brainer. And spirit says that's when you become balanced. All right, guys, I'm going to leave that there. You let me know whether you resonated, and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.